So I just finished reviewing my first and second initial watches of both Big Mouth Season 3 and Disenchantment Season 2, and watching them again as a whole for its respective series. I'm very disappointed. I'm very, very disappointed. Both with my decision and with the product produced, at least in the consideration of Big Mouth. Before I go to the bad, I'm going to start off with the good. Big Mouth, Season 1 and 2, and parts of 3, including Episode 10 and 11, are great. They are what makes Big Mouth what it is. Big Mouth is supposed to be an adult-oriented show that uses jokes to crack constant jokes and self-referential memes to the idea of what it must be like growing up in a current year society. Everything from male feminists to the awkward idea of how, even in current year, bullying and not feeling like yourself in your own skin are pervasive measures that could weigh heavily on your mind. All of these things were supposed to be the backbone and are the backbone of most jokes inside of 1 and 2, including things like suicide, depression, questioning your sexuality. All of them are supposed to make up the memes that we're supposed to enjoy about the show, but Season 3 was not made for an audience of people who are trying to enjoy Big Mouth. It was made by an audience and made for an audience of people who want to laugh at their own jokes while laughing about what they think the other person thinks about them. The amount of Jew jokes inside of not Disenchantment, but inside of Big Mouth Season 3 is aggressively offensive. And it's not aggressively offensive of, oh, I didn't like the jokes. No, I didn't feel anything. And that's the problem. Your entire point of doing this is to get a cringe reaction. That's why I call it Big Cringe. The kind of humor that I want to see is I want to see some jokes that make me go, ugh! But then maybe they're a little bit right. No, that's what Big Mouth was supposed to do. That's what it did most of the time. Self-referential, fuck with the medium, fuck with how they choose to present the joke, and then twist the shit on its head. That's how you're supposed to like the show and its content. But the problem with this, especially as of recently, when dealing with things such as the pedo anime argument, is that the show is doing subject matter correctly. And supposedly, this is supposed to be for children. If I take that to be an actual argument that's realistic, then there is everything wrong with Big Mouth. Because if the idea of insulting something actually promotes it, then congratulations, you're now Nazi supporters, because you have never made so many jokes about Nazism as though it is in this season of the show. Do you think that pedophilia is what happens when you have a character that is obviously a younger age on screen but was intended for an adult audience? Especially in this matter, in the conservative jokes? Well, congratulations. You're now looking at the sex parts of anthropomorphic and also anatomically correct teenagers that are the age of 13 in a fictional product. Even though they're fictional characters, and it's intended for an adult audience, since we're just letting children watch shit, you're now guilty of pedophilia. You, the creators of Big Mouth, you, the viewers who try to defend this, and also you, Netflix, and its overall network and shareholders. And if your ultimate defense is, But it's supposed to be jokes. It's supposed to be funny. Well, explain why I didn't laugh. I really didn't laugh. There are some jokes in the show. A lot of great jokes. Such as how there's a moment inside of the Duke Ellington Rewind episode where Duke is telling the cast about his life and his experiences in this fictional universe. There's a background joke about World War II and dicks that belong to the Rewind era. What's the fucking character's name? I can't remember the character's name. It'll come to me in a second. The male one. The one that's supposed to be Worth Carney. The one that's also voiced by Nick Kroll. The male hormone monsters, dicks, are telling a story about a World War II veteran who lost his friend in the war. That kind of joke happening while telling this story and making other jokes is a great joke. Or the incest episode, which contains probably the best interpretation of Florida ever, including Florida Man the song. The memes and the jokes involving incest are on the fucking nose. And they hit. They hit. Because not only are they honest and are they true, and not only is the Florida Man song funny and true, most of the statistics that they're just out there saying is not only true, but is so egregiously true everybody already knows it. But therein lies part of the problem. Especially with the incest jokes. When you talk about it, we get it, it's funny, and haha, I like it, but at the same time, move on. They retread so many times on the same dead horse that you start losing your goodwill and you stop leaning in to hear them. And you just lean back and sit there and watch the fire. This happens with everything in the series. It doesn't go away. It just keeps happening over and over again. I don't know if it's because the creators themselves thought that this was a good idea, or because the focus group that they obviously showed this to them said this was a good idea. It's not a good idea. It is just boring after a while. It first starts out off as offensive, and then egregious, and then annoying, and then it just goes to being numbing, and then you don't care anymore. I live tweeted about this while I was watching it, and I said exactly that. It remains true. Maury. That was the fucking character's name. Maury. Every single joke out of the mouth of Maury. And every joke out of the mouth of Connie. And the new hormone monstress that they introduce. Mona. Most of their jokes, most of the things that they say, if coupled with a couple of the good jokes, is comedy gold. Because they springboard off one another. So, someone says something in the show. They springboard off of it, and it becomes a bit. But this formula only works if you stop shitting on everything else that uses the setup to come before it. For example, in the double episode, the special about the Valentine's Day, there's this one-off line about Nick having an actual relationship with his parents because he doesn't properly have a Valentine's. And he goes to a Valentine's Day dinner with his mother and father. He's in a Walgreens, and they do a one-off joke about edible arrangements by pronouncing it as edible arrangements, as in the Greek tragedy Oedipus. They do a cutaway eventually later to giving Maya Rudolph probably the best rendition of the theme song, while going through a transition of clips just to show the state of characters in the episode. And it's a great moment, because it's the exact thing I expect of Big Mouth. Having musicals and having numbers to explain the reasons the worldview they have is what it is. That's what the first season started out with. Every single time they do this, it usually is a good one, it's a good take. But at this point, when you start watching the actual season of number 3, when you go through the entirety of season 3's content material, Every other musical, if it's not trying to fucking shame you and sell you on an idea of social justice and of leftism as a whole, it's trying to build up something that does not have your goodwill going into it. You don't believe the show when it tells the joke. So how can you take it as serious, and how can you take it as even true, even in the case of just being in the cartoon universe? Because these jokes are supposed to be based on shit that actually happens in real life. I don't believe that it happens in real life. I can't believe. I know that it doesn't happen in real life the way that they say it does, because I was there. I saw it with mine own eyes. So if you want me to turn my brain off, that's not going to happen. Because now you're trying to tell jokes based on real events, and you're getting facts about that event wrong. That, at the same time, you're trying to get me to believe jokes about things like Nazism. And we already know about the extra credits arguments. We already know about the anti-anime Twitter arguments. So when you use those frameworks to start your joke off, it just comes off as a "hello, fellow kids" kind of shit. And I'm not gonna accept that. No, you're better than this. You made better jokes than this. Where's the humor? Where's the snappy, witty come-liners? Where's the fucking comebacks? Where's the in-universe humor? Where's the fucking actual point of me seeing this, if this is what you have to offer me? And it's aggressively offensive when they do this, because episode 10 and episode 11 do exactly what the fuck they're supposed to do, which is dealing with the concept of puberty. Taking jokes that are based in puberty, like a young girl such as Missy, wanting to step into the power that womanhood offers, and getting a new hormone monstrous in the form of Mona that pushes her to be more sexual, and how that sexuality pushes off other people because of how weird it is for somebody to just have all this sexuality for no fucking reason. And how, despite trying to push them into doing these things that they're not prepared to do, how it can all just end like that because of circumstances, especially involving a male feminist teacher that's very clearly abusing a situation. It's a funny ass setup. It's a funny fucking premise. It was hinted at and foreshadowed in the first episodes of the series. It was actually foreshadowed in episode number 2, because episode 2 picks up right after that special. How you shit the bed that hard that I am completely numb by the time I reach the penultimate and the finale for the season is beyond fucking me. And then you have a superpower episode, right? You have all of these comic book tropes and all these comic book ideas that are there and stand out and are completely on fucking note. Playing up and playing with what you just left off in episode 10. And I still can't laugh. Because I'm so numb that the jokes, I see them, I recognize them. My critical brain is taking notes. But the dirty fucking shame secret person, me, the person who watches shows that are guilty pleasures because I want to at least say, you know what, could have been better. But it's I can't give you that. I can't give you the benefit of the doubt. The benefit of the doubt is gone. How drastically different Disenchantment is from Big Mouth. Literally comes down to Disenchantment's not using excuses to defend themselves if they were to get bad critical press. That's basically what it comes up to. I put out clips of the show myself that I took with the method I'm not going to tell you because I don't want y'all to use these methods to copyright shit. I myself clipped it and showed people full jokes from the episodes. Hundreds, if not thousands of retweets, sometimes of the same exact tweet saying, how is this show even on air? The fact that you are on Netflix is not an excuse to be lazy, and yet that's what they're doing. Big Mouth has already been renewed for what will be a now total of currently 7 seasons, 4 of which are currently now right in production, right? Disenchantment Like, Disenchantment got the same treatment, right? They're also the critic and media darling, simply because it's made by fucking Matt Groening. But they're not treating it as though they're already secure in their money. They're not treating their jokes and they're not treating their series as though, well, we're already here. We're not going to have a problem making shit, so why should we be worried? They're not treating it like that. From episode 1, they came out of the gate hard and strong. And Disenchantment Season 2 went out of the gate and was strong. Made the world building that they needed to be able to tell even better jokes and tell even better meta commentaries. And they succeeded with flying colors. They didn't hide behind the Jew defense, because one of the most egregious annoying pieces that I have to say and I have to announce is the most annoying part about Big Mouth is that they did not go far enough. The point of taking refuge in the audaciousness of the jokes you're telling is so that you tell actual edgy jokes that eventually, when people are laughing or being offended, they actually think about how the jokes work. Half of the jokes in Disenchantment work because of how audacious they are. Audacious because they're memes, born in of themselves, or because they're audacious because of the very premise of the idea, which then leads you to think about why it works. Big Mouth does not have this. Most of the time, Big Mouth is winking to the fucking camera. I remember, there's a joke specifically in Big Mouth where Jay is, I think he's mocking Ellie to her face. And he's having this conversation. It was either him or it was the other character. But a male character is saying something to them where they're saying, oh, no, I remember. It was Jay talking to Missy. Jay was talking to Missy, and he was mocking her about how he's not a drug dealer that waits around and tries to hang out and watch shit, and that I'm not just gonna sit here and watch Amazon Prime with you. Amazon Prime, the #1 streaming service. At that point in that episode, I was already conked the fuck out, but at that point, when I hit that, I was at the oh fuck you moment. Because you didn't earn that. You didn't earn it. It's not a funny joke to begin with anyways, considering that Amazon Prime is one of, 3 streaming services now owned by the same company? Not counting for the fact that Disney itself now owns its own streaming service? All you did was call attention to the fact that you're in a crowded field and that you're just one of the many darlings that can be secure in the idea that you're not gonna make money, because of course you will. But I don't know how this is supposed to be a joke. If it's a joke, it's a shit joke. Because, yes, we're mocking other streaming services where you, Netflix, are getting your show pirated. Full disclosure, I was going to pirate the show. The only reason I didn't is because I did not find a link in time, and I simply wanted to ask myself, will it be a better deal for me to just watch it now and take the $8.99 on the fucking nose and just deal with it? And ultimately, I enjoyed Disenchantment, but on the premise of shit like that alone, and all the dead jokes that are inside of Season 3 of Big Mouth alone, it's not enough to make up for it. How a person can watch this show and say they're an actual fan of it does not make sense to me. It just doesn't. I don't know how you find humor in this. I don't find this humorous. If you can go through each season, you can look at the jokes that they make. Yes, if you give them the freebie and say, okay, this is a show made for adults, so the nudity is not that much of a big deal. Even then, it's not enough. Because they just shit on everything they built before, just so that it can say that they're relatable to the audience. Moving forward, I'm just gonna have to say, just drop Big Mouth. It's not worth watching. Watch seasons 1 and 2, and then drop the show. Let that be the perfect image of Big Mouth in your mind. Because everything else is literal shit. If you're going to watch Disenchantment, watch Disenchantment. It's a better show. Pick that one up if you're going to continue using Netflix. Otherwise, I would just not. It's not worth investing into. Right? There are more videos, more reviews to come. They're going to be dropping sometime this week, if not on the weekend. And if I don't have them out by the end of Sunday this week, they'll probably be up next Monday. So I'll see you guys next time. And remember, no free clout.